live through Facebook. So welcome everybody to Wines of Italy today, and I'm Katarina as always from Great Wine Adventures. And today we have producer from Tuscany, which is Lisa Tommasini from Sangervasio Winery close to Pisa. So welcome, Lisa.
Hi everybody. And thank you, Katarina, to invite me.
So you can follow us both here on Huzzah, which it's enough if you click on the link, either if you follow Lisa or if you follow me on Twitter or Facebook or anywhere, on Instagram too, or you can follow us on Facebook because we're on Facebook Live too. I will try and follow the questions on both, but I think it's easier if you have some serious questions to click on the link to get into Huzzah, because it's easier for me to follow the questions here. So let's start. If you start by presenting yourself, who you are and your winery.
Okay, yeah. So I'm Lisa Tommasini, and from the winery Sangervasio, which is in Tuscany, precisely in the Pisa area, so on the Pisa hills, 30 kilometers from Pisa. And the winery is property of my family since the 60s. My grandfather bought the estate 50 years ago, when almost anybody wanted to stay and also because he had a very big passion for the countryside. So from that time, my family is property of the winery, but it's from the beginning of the 90s that we really start our mission in the winemaking. Because my father started to, he became the winemaker, he planted new vineyards, and what is most important, he got the organic certification for the whole estate 20 years ago. And we are very proud of it, really.
You're organically certified since 20 years.
Yeah.
That's true, I read that on the website.
Yeah, from 20 years. So it's, I think it's really our added value, because it's,
but you were almost one of the first then, or?
Yeah, we were one of the first, especially in our area, in the Pisa area. So we are really proud of it. It's not for fashion, it's really our lifestyle, to care of the environment, of the nature, of everything, of our area, because really we have a big heritage in Sangervasio. Because the winery takes the name from the village of Sangervasio, which is a very small village on the top of the hill, where we have the cellar, and the estate is all around. It's quite big, it's 400 hectares, but we have 22 hectares of vineyards. So it's a lot of work, really. We really have many things to do. Of course, wine is the main business. The main activity, but we also have apartments. We have a little bit of olive oil production. We also have a hunting reserve. So there are many activities. Yeah, wine, of course, it's the most important. And since 5 years, I started to work in the winery with my father. I had him more involved in the sales and in the customer care, and so together we go around to to present the wines, to promote the wines, and so it's really the best part of the job for me. Really to meet people and to tell them our story, our origins, and really it's the best part.
But if you talk a bit more about the area and the terroir and the soil in itself, because it's quite particular where you are.
Yeah, exactly. So we are between Pisa and Florence, 30 kilometers from Pisa, in a very special area, 200 meters high on the hills. And we have very particular soil in Sangervasio, because it's Pliocenic. It means that many thousands of years ago there were people there. So now the soil is very rich in fossil shells, sand, and clay. So it's a very rich and mineral soil. And of course, this minerality you find in all our wines, because through the organic agriculture, the wines are the real expression of our soil. And what is really important, what is in the cellar, is also that we don't add any selected yeast to let the fermentation start. It's only natural fermentation. So also through the process, the wines are the real expression of our terroir, which is unique, really. The climate in Sangervasio is unique because 200 meters high, 30 kilometers in front of the sea, so there is a lot of breeze. We have clean the air, so the and it makes perfect to grow grape there. Yeah.
But can you find these big fossil shells or shell fossils also in your vineyards? Because I went to the Fattoria di Fibiano, they have these huge
they are quite
shells in the soil.
It's true. So if you also today I was in the vineyard, and you can find big fossil shells like this, very big, and also smaller pieces. But it's really easy to find the fossil shells in the vineyards. In specific areas, maybe you find more. But it's true, it's not a joke. You can really find them. Yeah.
But are they smaller or are they really big? Because I went to
really,
they're really big.
Sometimes, like oysters.
Oh, okay.
Big oysters, yeah. When I was a child, I used to, go around in the vineyards with my dad, and I was surprised to find the shells there in the countryside. And I always asked, Dad, but why there are the shells here? And then at that time, he tried to explain to me that there was the sea, but I was too young to really understand this. But then, of course, now I grew up and I really understand. But it's true, you really find very, very big fossil shells there. It's something special, really.
And how would you say, if we, now I think there's a bit of an echo, I don't know why. But anyway, how would you say that this minerality and these fossil shells in this soil, how does it affect the wines?
Yeah, so mainly it's in the taste, of course. So the wine is very fresh, very elegant. So they are not, they don't have too big body, but they have elegance and fineness. This is the main added value of our soil. So we are not on the coast, so you don't have too big body, too much power in the wine, but you have fineness and elegance. Which is our peculiarity, is our soil. Yeah. That's it.
That's nice. So if we go over to talk about, because I read that you're also biodynamic, even if you're not certified. So how did you decide to become also the biodynamic, and how does it influence the wine production?
Of course, it was a process. Yeah, we start with the organic. We are not certified biodynamic, but we follow certain principles of the biodynamic philosophy, especially in the cellar. When we have to move the wine, we watch the moon. It's important. So we not embrace in total the biodynamic philosophy, but in certain time of the year, yes. Especially when we have to move the wine, maybe when we have to put the wine in the barrel, we have to move the wine. Also now that we are in the harvest time, of course the wine is in the tank fermenting, so you have to do the remorse. So it's important to take care of this.
So it's not so much in the vineyard, but it's mostly in the wine
vineyard. Well, of course, we don't use any chemical in the vineyards. We use natural plants to add minerals and elements to the soil. But so we plant seeds between the lines to let plants add minerals to the soil, but we use only copper to protect the plants. Anything else. yeah, it's really everything natural. Of course, in the vineyard, the work, it's hard because you have to take a lot of care. You have to see if some illness is starting in the vineyard. You have to start immediately with the copper, and you have to take big care of the plants first, because the wine first you make in the vineyard, then after there is the cellar, but first you have to take care of the plants.
So would you say that you have more people working in the vineyard now than you had before?
Yeah, well, actually, we are not. We are 6 persons during the year. Of course, now that we are in the harvest time, we have
a bit more.
10, 15 persons in the vineyard to pick up the grape, and 10 persons in the cellar, because we do also the manual sorting of the grape, because before it goes in the tanks for the fermentation. So of course, during the harvest we need more help, but normally during the year we are 6 persons, so not so much. The experience, it's very important. So my father is the winemaker from 22 years. So of course, in 22 years you gain a lot of experience. And this is the most important thing that you don't learn in the books, right? Yeah.
So I'm sorry, there's a bit of an echo. If we were talking about the green manure, which is Sauvage, so what do you use for green manure in the vineyards?
Yeah, we use senape. I don't know the name in English. Yeah, we use many different plants.
Mustard.
Mustard, right? Mustard, mainly mustard. Mainly mustard to do the Sauvage. Of course, we do this in every vineyard. In some part needs more minerals, because especially in the more sandy vineyards, because there are some vineyards which are more rich in sand, and they need more help, because the sand is very dry, so we need to add more mustard to help. Mustard mainly, yeah. And,
okay. The echo comes on every now and then. Let's hope that it disappears. Okay. So if you continue, if you talk a bit about the work you have now in the wine cellar, what's going on now when it's a harvest?
Yeah, so of course, we start the harvest 29th of August this year. So a little bit late than normal, because in the very, very good vintage, we started 13th of August with the white wine. So quite earlier than other areas of Tuscany, like Chianti Classico, because we are more close to the sea. So of course the influence is very important. But this year, so we had very high temperatures in July, and no rain. So we had the rain last weekend after 2 months. So it was a problem for the plants, because of course the sun is necessary, but also water is necessary, and we are not allowed by law to put water to water the plants. So we were doing the rain dance, you know. But yeah, finally we got the rain, and because we harvested already all the white wines, we have Chardonnay, Vermentino, and Sauvignon mainly, but the very small production, and we already harvested Merlot. So now we are waiting for the Sangiovese to be ready, because most part of our production is Sangiovese. So we just started. We have to do the hardest work starts now. I think before Friday we're gonna harvest. We're gonna start the harvest Sangiovese, because the rain of last weekend helps a lot the plants. So tomorrow we're gonna make analysis on the grape to see if it's ready. But I think before Friday we're gonna harvest Sangiovese. So then after the grape is harvested, we put it in a big fridge for 1 night, because yeah, the grape have to rest a little bit, and it's better that we cool. Then after the day after, we do, as I said before, the manual sorting of the grape. So we have 2 tables in the cellar. In the first one, we clean from the leaves that could remain, and we remove some pieces that could be ruined. And we have another table where we clean really only when it passes only the fruit, and clean from pieces of wood that could remain. And yeah, it's a very hard work. We are really 10 persons working while we do the sorting. After this, the grape goes inside the tank for the fermentation. We have all concrete tanks for the fermentation of the reds. Of course, we control the temperature, but fermentation starts completely natural. So we don't add any yeast to let the fermentation start. We let it start slowly by itself. It takes a little bit more time, but then the fermentation is softer, and in this way we preserve the aromas, and it's what we want. Of course, we are not a winery that produces million bottles. We produce about 100,000 bottles every year, more or less. So of course, we have to focus first on the quality, and then we have to express in the wine what is our area, our soil, our climate. We have to express in the wine the peculiarity of Sangervasio. So we notice with the experience, now we started with the natural fermentation in 2003, so it's 13 years this year. And it was hard because my father always tell me, yeah, the first year I never slept because I was thinking, oh, the fermentation will start or not, please. Yeah, it wasn't easy. But then, of course, after 13 years, you gain the experience, and you know.
Yeah, that's true.
The fermentation starts slower, and it's more softer, and yeah, you can really maintain more aromas which are typical of terroir, of course. So it's
that's true.
Yeah, we are really fermenting now. Really, we have yeah, many tanks are already fermenting. We tasted some Chardonnay, some Merlot this morning. It was very interesting for me because, of course, I'm learning a lot every day. So it's always interesting for me to taste also the not finished wine, to understand how it develops, right? So it's the hardest period of the year because you have to run when the grape is ready. You cannot wait. You have to run, but in the end you see all the work that you've done in 1 year. And,
that's
a lot
pretty
of
amazing
as well.
You were talking before about the typical characteristics of the Sangervasio wine that you want to express.
Yeah.
How, if you would, for the people who doesn't know what's the typical Tuscan wine, how would you express in 3-4 words?
Yeah. So the first word that arrives in my mind is minerality, and it's the same peculiarity of the soil. Yeah, but really, when you taste our wines, in first you feel you taste the minerality, and then the freshness that helps to clean the palate. So our wines are very deep, very fresh. So not a big body, but really you can have minerality and freshness. Yeah, those are the main adjectives that matter for our wines. Yeah.
Okay, so do you want to say something more about the fermentation or the work?
Well, yeah.
Around that?
Yeah, so I can talk also a little bit more about the natural fermentation.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah, because it's something that not everybody do. It's something not easy to do because you need a perfect grape to do this, because of course the fermentation starts naturally because on the skin of the grape are naturally present yeasts, natural yeast. So as I told before, the fermentation starts slower, and it lasts. This year we noticed that it lasts about 15 up to 20 days. So it's a little bit longer than the conventional fermentation. Let's call it conventional. But of course, at the end, you really have a wine that expresses your soil, your climate, everything. This is the really the real satisfaction for us. Of course, it's easy to have the same wine every year. If you use chemical, if you use yeast, you always have those aromas. You don't really care if the grape is good or not. Of course, if you want to go organic, you have to, it's hard. It's hardest work, especially at the beginning when you have no experience. You have to learn, you have to see. Well, after 20 years, we can say that we got the experience, but you have to have more care, mainly of the plants, first of all, because you need the perfect grape. Then after, you also work in the cellar. It's very important. So, but first of all, you have to care of the plant.
Yes, because if you don't have good grapes, it's hard to do.
Exactly. And,
so there was a question from Elena. She wanted to know about the level of sapidity or saltiness of your wines.
Yes, of course, the minerality is also saltiness. So, it's the same. It's I don't know how I can define a level, but it's really immediate. When you taste the wine, it's really immediate in your palate. You really feel the saltiness, the minerality. When I say
but then the minerality can be also that you feel a bit of the soil. I mean, it doesn't have to be only saltiness. So.
I can say that. Minerality and saltiness. It's the same. So it's it's really the peculiarity of our wine.
Okay. That's good. Let's see if there's any more. Now there's a bit of echo again. Now it disappeared. Okay. It's just a bit funny. So you were saying before, I interrupted you. I'm sorry. About the fermentation, do you want to add something there, or do you want to talk more about the wines, perhaps?
So of course, let's switch on the wine, because it's interesting to know what is happening now in the cellar, but it's also interesting to know about the finish. And
but feel free to finish about the work in the cellar.
I told you everything. Now we are just waiting for the Sangiovese to be ready. So we really open in a few days to start to harvest Sangiovese, which is of course our focus. It's the quality first, but also the tradition. So Sangiovese, it's the tradition of Tuscany. It's also the tradition of Sangervasio, because when my grandfather bought the estate, there was the wine production there, and it was Sangiovese and Trebbiano only.
Okay. So the typically traditional.
Sangiovese remains our focus, our main production. So
there's another question here from an American from Shell. He wants to know about the shelf life, but I don't know if that's really, because I mean wine can age very long. So I think the shelf life is more about wines that are made with chemicals. No.
The shelf life. Sorry, I don't.
I think that might be something American, perhaps, because I mean the wine is aging, so it can be.
So you mean the aging of the wine after bottling? You mean?
Right. I think he meant shelf life, but I think he's meaning aging. Yes.
Aging. Okay. So we noticed that our wines have very long life. That's why we like to sell the wines too young. If you buy a bottle of Assirio, which is our most representative wine, now you will find vintage 09, because aging is very important, also in the bottle. So we wait at least 3 years for the top wine after bottling, because wines that make natural fermentation definitely needs longer aging also in the bottle. So at the end, they have longer life. And if you taste Assirio 2000 or 2001, it's really a big surprise. So definitely our wines have very, very long life. You can keep them without any problem. I think this is what she meant, right?
Yes. Yes, I was also a bit insecure about shelf life, because I was thinking, okay. But I think you meant aging, so it was correct.
Okay.
But do you think that is something, a new trend, also for organic wineries, that you kind of try and keep the wine a bit longer before selling it on the market?
Yeah,
or is it for Sangiovese particularly, do you think? Because
of course,
Sangiovese is harder.
It's not easy. It's not an easy grape. It's not an easy wine, because it's not like Merlot and Cab that everybody loves. Sangiovese, you have to understand it. In my opinion, it's not easy to understand. And of course, if you taste it too young, maybe you lose it, the best part. Yes. The Sangiovese needs needs longer time of aging, especially in the bottle. Once again, it's this experience, because every year we store some bottles of Assirio, of our main wine, to see how they develop in time during the years. Important also to do this, to know how the wine develops, how the wine ages in the bottle. And I think that Sangiovese needs more time, definitely.
No, I think so too. It was because I visited a lot of wineries lately who kind of tend to keep them longer before they.
Yeah. Of course, it's on the top wine, let's call it like the wine that.
No, of course. I mean, if it's the.
For example, we also produce a Chianti, with 100% Sangiovese, and it's really an everyday wine. So we can't wait for that wine too long, because in the last year everybody go crazy for Chianti, and everybody wanted Chianti. So we try to increase the production of Chianti, but every year we have to go on. In fact, now we are selling Chianti 15. So it's normally we prefer to wait at least 6 months, 1 year, also for the Chianti after bottling. But the last year it's impossible, because everybody wants Chianti. So it depends on the kind of wine.
Well, it's very good Chianti, which I tasted at.
Thank you. Thank you. It's the vintage 15 was a very good vintage also in Sangervasio.
Yes.
So the rumors were very positive, but at the end, Sangervasio. Very good vintage, and we had only problems with the wild boars, the wild pigs, that ate a lot of grape last year. So we had 30% less in the total.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a big problem, but the quality is really good. Vintage.
Yeah, because it was very fruity, but at the same time
very fruity, and
but still very fresh.
Yeah, still very fresh, but not too much tannins on the Sangiovese.
No.
Really, we are very happy of.
And you didn't feel the acidity that strongly. I mean, there's always acidity in the Sangiovese, but.
Yeah. The acidity, of course, is always present.
There, but it wasn't that strong, because in some wines you feel it very like.
Yeah. It wasn't that strong, really, and the Chianti is it's also very, very fruity. We are very happy of the vintage 15. At the moment, we only have Chianti available of vintage 15, because the other wines are resting in the barrels, not yet bottled. So we will have to wait a little bit more to get Assirio, for example, which is, as I told you before, our most important wine, because it was the first who was born 20 years ago, because the first vintage was 95. And it has always been Sangiovese with a very small part of Cabernet Sauvignon. But from vintage 15, it will be 100% Sangiovese.
Okay.
Yeah, because really we were very, very satisfied, very happy of Sangiovese vintage. So we decided to do Assirio 100% Sangiovese. So it will be something new that will be released in a few years. Yeah. And
so I just wanted to tell, for all of you who wants to read about their wines, you can go to their website. I'm putting it here again as a link.
Yeah, sangervasio.com.
And yes, of course, if you're in Tuscany, you can go and visit.
Yes. Yeah, on the website you find all the information on all the wines.
Sorry, I was just interrupting you.
Yeah, no problem.
I see there was a bit more people. There's a lot of people listening on Facebook.
Great.
So you're very popular now.
Yeah.
Also, Matteo has been listening in. So
yeah. Okay. So if yeah, I was talking about. I was more into our wines. So as I told you, our main production is Sangiovese. So we do the Chianti. We also have a sparkling rosé made with Sangiovese that you tasted at the event last time, and Assirio, which is our heart, our baby. Mainly, first thing because it was born 20 years ago, and also because it's dedicated to my grandfather. Yeah, and so because he loved to drink wine, so we dedicate this wine to him. Also for the tradition, you know, in Italy the tradition is one of
everything,
values. Yeah, so we dedicate this wine to him, and then we have Sangervasio Rosso, which I have a bottle here just to show, because I had the bottle at home. You see it? I don't have a bottle of Assirio, sorry. But
you can see it on her website.
Yeah, exactly. Just to show the label. Sangervasio Rosso is an halfway between Chianti and Assirio, because it's the most part is Sangiovese, but it's blended with Merlot and Cab. So it's more international style, more round, more smooth, and so it's just to make a different wine, different entry level wine than Chianti. So we have Chianti and Sangervasio Rosso, two choices. But of course, we also have some international grapes. 20 years ago, my father wanted to experiment also with Merlot and Cab, because we never had them in Sangervasio. And
so he planted them when he bought it?
Yeah, he planted them 20 years ago. And so we have Irenai, which is 100% Merlot.
Yes.
Yeah, and 100% Cabernet Sauvignon that we bottle only in the best vintages, not every year.
Okay.
And we also have two white wines, but as I told before, it's a very small production. Sangervasio Bianco, which is the entry level, made with the Vermentino Chardonnay and Sauvignon, and 100% Chardonnay, which at the moment is sold out because of the wild boars that I told before, that last year really loved Chardonnay grape, so no Chardonnay last year. And we also have the Vin Santo, the dessert wine, which again is a very small production, but it's a wine of the tradition. It was the favorite wine of my grandfather, so we keep producing it. It's a wine that makes very long aging, because we dry the grape naturally for 4 months, 4 or 5 months. Then we put in the small barrels the caratelli, which is specific for Vinsanto. Then we close with wax on the top, and we don't open for at least 8 years, sometimes even 9 or 10. So it's a very, very long aging. And during this process, there is a lot of evaporation and a lot of concentration. So our Vinsanto is very concentrate. It's more like sherry. If you see it, it's a very dark amber color.
Yes.
It's very, you tasted it, right?
Yes, I tasted it.
And
you also gave me a bottle, so I actually should have it here somewhere.
Yeah, right. And I always advise to have it not with the cantuccini biscuit, because the tradition is to have Vinsanto with the cantuccini biscuit. But it's a very powerful wine. So normally I advise to pair it with some dark chocolate or aged cheese, like blue cheese or aged merino, something like this, because it's very powerful and powerful taste to pair.
Yes. No, that's true.
It's
So there was another question, and they want to know if your wines are sold in the States, and I guess they are.
Yes, of course, they are sold in the States. We are at the moment present in New York and Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for people who wants to find you, how can they find your wines?
On our website, there is a page called Distribution, and there you find the contacts of all our importers in the US. So if you want, you can contact them directly, of course. Yeah.
So do you want to add something about the wines? Which one is your favorite Asirio, or is your favorite?
Of course, Asirio. It's my favorite because it's the best expression of our Sangiovese, and it comes from a single vineyard, which is very high density. Has 12,000 plants per hectare, which is very, very high. It means that there is a lot of competition between the plants. So the plants produce less quantity of grape, but more concentrate. So all of our vineyards are high density, but the one for Asirio, it's the one which is higher. It's something that not everybody do, because the high density vineyard is not easy to care, because of course the lines are closer.
Yes.
We do pruning and harvest by hand, only by hand. But we have the machine that goes upon the plants to spray the copper. Of course, it gives more satisfaction, but once again, it's a lot of work.
Yes, it's hard work to do good one.
A lot of work behind the bottle. It's not only it's not only the label, it's not only the bottle. There is really a lot of work behind. And I like a lot also the Cabernet, because I think that it's something special. It's something that we do only when we have very, very good quality of grape. So, and personally, I like powerful red wine. Yeah, because I'm not the typical woman who likes sweet wine or white wine. I like to have a glass of very good red wine, powerful
red, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, especially at the end of the day when you are tired after work. For me, a glass of wine is a time to relax.
So if I would just ask about, now I have an echo again here, but let's see if it disappears. about the sparkling wine, because I think that's something particular also for Tuscany.
Something special, because we started to produce this wine 4 years ago. Because my father always liked to produce the rosé. In the past, we also produced a still rosé, but then we stopped because the market didn't want it anymore. Now it's restarting, I think. Also.
Yeah, it's coming back a bit.
It's coming back a lot. So, and then he wanted to experiment to make a sparkling wine. And so with our enologist, who is Luca da Toma, from 1994, so from the beginning, they decide to try. So it's made only with Sangiovese grape. We harvest the grape a little bit earlier to preserve more freshness and more acidity. And we do the fermentation with the skin in contact with the liquid for a few hours to get the pink color, because of course the color is inside the skin of the grape. And then it stays for 3-4 months in the pressure tank.
So it's in autoclave, no?
Yeah, autoclave. It's a Charmat method, so it's not champenoise. And then 1-2 months in bottle. So it's very easy wine, but it's very fresh, very refreshing. It's good as an aperitif, because it has very, very soft bubbles. They are not too strong. Sometimes you take some wines which has those strong bubbles that really pick the nose, and I don't like. But our sparkling is very, very refreshing, has the soft bubbles, and it's very
but I think it's still quite well structured. I mean, it's fresh, and you feel the Sangiovese, of course, the fruit and the minerality, but it's also fairly structured. I mean, it's a very good sparkling.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's good to be paired with some really light ham dishes or pecorino cheese, really like an aperitif. And so we started 4 years ago to try with 2,000 bottles, and we finished those bottles in 2 months. So we decided, okay, people like it, we can do more of it. And then now we are doing around 8,000-10,000 bottles of this wine. And we sell a lot also here in Italy, but also abroad people like it. Because of course it's like a prosecco, but it's not prosecco, so it's something different.
No, it's like a mix between spumante, sparkling, and prosecco.
Yeah, really, absolutely.
It's not. Okay, so I don't think there were any more questions. Usually I ask a bit about food pairings too, because I know that people like to hear about that. So what would you say would be the typical pairing of the Assirio?
Of the Assirio, we usually pair it with the wild boar, cooked in the Tuscan way. So with the olives, with some tomato, because the wild boar is has a very strong taste, and it's also kind of tannic taste. So Assirio and Sangiovese in general helps to clean the palate after the wild boar. So normally this is the best pairing that we do. Of course, if you don't have the wild boar, you can pair it with a steak. It is okay, Florentine steak or something like that, with a brasato could be as well. Yeah, but
cooked meat in a very long way.
Long cooking meat. Very, very good. While, for example, Irenai, the Merlot, I would pair it with some cheese, maybe. With, of course, with steak. It's always a good
you can always do
pairing. Yeah, always a good pairing. But for me, Merlot is good to have with cheese. Yeah. And as a cheese lover, I always drink it, and yeah. So and
then the standard Chianti, what would you do a steep there too, or
yeah, maybe with a dish of pasta, also maybe with ragu sauce, or also some strong tomato sauce. Because of course the Chianti is lighter than a Sirio, so you can have it also with a dish of pasta, of course.
Yes, no, that's true.
Yeah.
And I don't know, any other white wines? Do you have any special pairing there?
Well, the white, let me think. Well, the Chardonnay is as a kind of sweetness at the end, because of course at the beginning has the same minerality and saltiness of all the others, but at the end is a little bit sweet. So I would pair it again with cheese, not too much, also with mid-aged pecorino. And yeah, while the Sangervasio Bianco, which is more light, also have it with chicken salad or something with vegetables, something fresh, something light. It's good to be paired with light dishes in general.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I think that was all. Do you have anything to add? Do you want to say something more about your winery, yourself, your work?
Well, what more to say? I don't know. I say a lot of things.
I think we have covered most of the.
Yeah. Most the main thing. Yeah, we always the main topics. We talk a lot of main topics. Well, we also I can say the other things that we do in Sangervasio, because as I told at the beginning, we also have apartments to rent. Of course, we organize some wine tours and tastings for anybody who wants to come. We show the cellar, the village of Sangervasio, and then we do the tasting of the wine. And we also do weddings in Sangervasio. A real small village. There is the church, and so we also rent the villa and the garden for weddings. So yeah, there's a lot of things to do. If somebody wants to come and help, is welcome. There are really a lot of things to do, and yeah. And
well, I think anybody who goes here should go and visit.
Yeah.
To have a look at the area.
Yeah, of course. If you want to come to visit us, you can write me. On the website you find all the contact and everything. Because we really appreciate when people come to visit us, so they can see with their eyes how we work and how the wine is made. And I think that when you see with your eyes, you will really understand that the wine is not only bottle. There's a lot of work behind, a lot of passion, because of course our job is made 100% of passion, because you really have to love what you do. And,
okay, so thank you very much. Now I'm just going to take it off the live on Facebook, and if anybody wants to jump into the huzzah, I think Lisa will stay for another 5 minutes if somebody has any questions. So thank you, Lisa, and this was today the guest was Lisa from Sangervasio, and next week we will have a winery from Calabria, Cantina Lucca. So I will be back with more information about that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.